Ladies and gentlemen, we've officially entered the NFL playoffs. The regular season has officially ended, and all of the teams in the playoffs come in with a record of 0-0. Which team will win outright and make it to the Super Bowl, as well as potentially win the Super Bowl? Welcome back to Rivers Talk Sports. I am back again with my weekly NFL predictions video, and I'm here to give you my predictions for the first round. Starting off with the LA Chargers versus the Houston Texans. The Chargers had a really solid season, especially in Jim Harbaugh's first season as a head coach for the LA Chargers. They did have a losing streak towards the end, but they did break it, beating the Denver Broncos and ended the season on a 3-game winning streak, which is a nice confidence boost for this Chargers team going to the first round. The Houston Texans, they did have a great season. They did finish as divisional winners for the AFC South. The one problem I have about this Texans team is, yes, I understand that their defense is really solid, but how can this Texans team continue to put up points without Tank Dell, without Stephon Diggs? Can the play calling be a bit better in the playoffs? And besides, with the Houston Texans, the last time they beat a playoff team was back in October against the Buffalo Bills. I think this game will be a very low-scoring game. I think a game-winning field goal will probably decide this game. But between the two, I'm going to go with the LA Chargers money line over the Houston Texans. And I'm very 50-50 about the spread. I honestly think the spread could probably push. I can see a 23-20 game, 14-17 kind of game. I think this would be a low-scoring defensive battle kind of game, but I'm going to lean with the LA Chargers -3. You can't go wrong with either side. I'm myself 50-50 split on the spread, but I'm going to go with the LA Chargers to win outright against the Houston Texans, and I'm going to go with the LA Chargers -3 spread for now. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Pittsburgh Steelers did start the season very hot. They switched quarterbacks from Justin Fields over to Russell Wilson. They did have a nice winning streak, but to end the season, they went on a 4-game losing streak, and that is not the kind of way you want to end the regular season going to playoffs, especially going against the Baltimore Ravens, who not only took the division away from the Steelers, they are AFC North champions, and they just been on a tear since coming off their bye. I think this would be a very gritty divisional matchup, but it's very hard to see the Steelers put up points against this Baltimore Ravens team, or at least go toe-to-toe with Lamar Jackson. The past 4 weeks, the Steelers have struggled to at least put up 20 points. Meanwhile, the Ravens are just dropping 30 points week in and week out. Can Russell Wilson get it done in the playoffs? Can the Steelers' pass defense and defense as a whole get it done? And for the Baltimore Ravens, it looks like Lamar Jackson is pretty much going to win the MVP. This offense is on a tear with Derrick Henry in the backfield. I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens money line. I understand that Pittsburgh Steelers have owned the Baltimore Ravens the past few times, but the Ravens are just too hot, and I have no faith in the Steelers team, especially of how they looked towards the end of the season and how this team is right now. And I'm not buying how they look right now. I am going to go Baltimore Ravens in this one. So give me Baltimore Ravens money line. As far as the spread, this is very high with these two teams. 9.5 where things stand right now. The Steelers have covered the spread quite well against the Baltimore Ravens within the past 10 games, but I think the Baltimore Ravens could probably win this game comfortably against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just can't trust the Steelers team to go toe-to-toe with this Baltimore Ravens offense, and I feel like the Steelers defense will probably break down against this Ravens offense. So I hate the spread, but I'm probably going to lean Baltimore Ravens -9.5. I think the Ravens can beat this Pittsburgh Steelers team by at least 10 points. So I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens money line and Baltimore Ravens -9.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they need to come into next season fresh, not really liking of how they're looking, of how they ended the season. Next, we have the Denver Broncos versus the Buffalo Bills. Let's talk about the Denver Broncos for a little bit. To my surprise, actually, they had a really solid season. A lot of it was due to exceptional quarterback play in rookie Bo Nix and having a really stout defense that the Broncos had all season long. Overall, solid group, solid year for this Denver Broncos team. They had the opportunity to clinch the playoffs against the Chargers and the Bengals, couldn't get it done, and it had to take up until week 18 where the Chiefs rested all of their starters, played their second stringers and third stringers, and didn't even give up a fight to at least challenge the Denver Broncos. Seems like the Chiefs just didn't want the Bengals in the playoffs and just kind of give the game away to Denver Broncos, and the Broncos are finally in the playoffs now that they defeated the Kansas City Chiefs in week 18, and now they're going up against a very, very tough group in the Buffalo Bills. The Bills have pretty much been one of the most dominant teams all entirely long. They defeated the Kansas City Chiefs, they defeated the Detroit Lions, and Josh Allen had a MVP-like year. Pretty much with Josh Allen being healthy, this Buffalo Bills team can pretty much beat anyone. I know their defense has been subpar the past month and a half, but when you have Josh Allen at quarterback, you could pretty much take down any team in the NFL. With that being said, with this game being in Buffalo, give me the Buffalo Bills money line. It is very hard to defeat the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo. They have one of the best records in December and January. playing at home, and from the Broncos playing second stringers and third stringers against the Chiefs, going against a battle-tested Buffalo Bills team at Buffalo, it's kind of hard to envision an upset here. So I'm going Buffalo Bills money line over the Denver Broncos. As far as the spread, it's a very large spread at 8.5, but I do think that the Buffalo Bills can cover the spread. I think the Buffalo Bills beat the Denver Broncos by at least 10 points. I'm going to go Buffalo Bills money line, and I'm going to go Buffalo Bills minus 8.5 over the Denver Broncos. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers for a little bit. Very, very solid season. Back-to-back years having the youngest NFL team, and back-to-back years going to the playoffs as a 7th seed. The main concern about this Green Bay Packers team is that they cannot beat great teams. All of their losses came against the Lions, Minnesota Vikings, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Meanwhile, all of their wins came against teams pretty much below them. Their only major win this season was against the Seattle Seahawks. Going to the playoffs is going to be very, very tough for this team to make it to the Super Bowl without Jair Alexander and without Christian Watson. Alexander is their best cornerback on defense, and Watson is, I don't know if he's the best wide receiver in this group, but his speed definitely stretches out the offense and gives Love time to view his options on offense. So big blow on both sides of the ball. Philadelphia Eagles, one of the most dominant teams in the NFL. Last 10 games, believe 9 wins, 1 loss, pretty much damn near top 5, top 10 in every statistical category on offense and defense. I know Jalen Hurts hasn't played the past few weeks, going through the concussion protocol, but first game in the playoffs, I'm sure he'll be good to go. Between these two teams, I find it very, very hard for a Packers upset here. If Watson and Jair were healthy, I would have loved a nice puncher chance here. But without Alexander, without Watson, I find it very hard for this Packers team to go against a fully healthy Philadelphia Eagles team. I'm going to go Philadelphia Eagles money line over the Green Bay Packers. It just feels like the Packers are just a bit depleted in key areas to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles. And as far as the spread, right now the line is at 4.5, and I feel like anything under 6, maybe under 5, is definitely a good play for the Philadelphia Eagles at this point. So I'm going to go Philadelphia Eagles money line and Philadelphia Eagles spread minus 4.5. Next, we have the Washington Commanders versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On the Commanders, they pretty much revamped the whole entire team in the offseason. Brand new coaching staff. They pretty much signed damn near over 20 defensive players in free agency. And with the addition of Jaden Daniels as a rookie in the draft, this Commanders team surprised a lot of people. And this Commanders team is very solid, and I think they can go on a potential tear in this playoff team, but Jaden Daniels is definitely going to be the key with his quarterback play. He's playing a huge role for this Commanders team all season long. If he can extend plays with his arm and his legs, this Commanders team does have a shot, and this defense has been really well against the pass and the rush throughout the season. So the Commanders do have a chance to make a nice little run in the playoffs. And on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side, they are divisional winners, and I believe 3 straight years. This is their 5th straight year going to the playoffs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers pretty much own the NFC South right now, and coming back from their bye and Mike Evans coming back, the Buccaneers only lost once, which is against the Dallas Cowboys, and this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is very hot, and I do think that Jaden Daniels and Baker can go toe-to-toe with one another, but between these two, I think this will be a very close game, probably a very high-scoring game, but I'm going to go with the team that has the experience in this one. I think this playoff environment might be a bit too much for the rookie for Jaden Daniels. I'm going to go to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've been here last year and the past few years. I'm going to go Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line. As far as the spread, I might take a stab at the Commanders plus 3.5. I think this game can come down to the wire, come down to a field goal, but I'm going to go Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line. I just love the experience that they have, especially they were in this environment last year, go into this year again, and I just think that this playoff experience might be a bit too much for the Commanders, but I love the future for the Commanders. But give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers money line, but give me the Commanders at plus 3.5 to keep it interesting in this game. Last but not least, Monday night game, we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the LA Rams. The Minnesota Vikings, to my surprise, they had a really, really great season. And I think Sam Darnold was pretty much the key to this offense, especially letting Kirk Cousins go to Atlanta and bringing in Sam Darnold on a 1-year deal. That was pretty much a great bargain for this team, and Sam Darnold has really taken this Vikings offense to a whole other level, and Brian Flores' defense, blitz heavy, has been great for this defense, and let's talk about the LA Rams. The LA Rams did start off the season very slow, but when Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua came back for that Thursday night game when they defeated the Minnesota Vikings, they've been on a tear at the end of the season on a very hot note in which they won the division, got into the playoffs, and here they are in the playoffs against this team that they defeated a few weeks back. This would be a very close game. Um, the main concern that I have about the Minnesota Vikings is Sam Darnold does not have playoff experience. And with the number one seed on the line in a playoff environment, the Vikings fell really, really flat. Do the Vikings have what it takes to make it to the Super Bowl? Or is this the same Vikings team that pretty much gave a lot of fans false hope in 2022 when they won the division, but then got taken out in the first round by the New York Giants? So which Vikings team do we have? Are they Super Bowl contenders, or were they just a very regular season merchant kind of team, and will they fall flat in a playoff environment just due to Sam Darnold's lack of playoff experience? LA Rams, Matthew Stafford has playoff experience. He has a ring. Sean McVay has playoff experience. He has a ring. So the LA Rams have experience, especially since they made it to the playoffs last year. What's going to be huge for this defense is they're very young. They're not going to have Aaron Donald and that veteran leadership presence in that locker room. So can this Rams defense stop the hot Vikings offense? I think it'll be a very close game, but to make things interesting, I'm going to go with the first upset in the first round. I'm going to go LA Rams upset over the Minnesota Vikings. I think the LA Rams are a dark horse in the playoffs, and I think the Rams match really well with the Minnesota Vikings. I think Matthew Stafford can find Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp against this blitz-heavy defense, and I think the Rams can step up at home. They have the home field advantage. They have the home field advantage, and the quarterback and the head coach do have playoff experience. And I think that's very huge in a playoff environment against a team that has a quarterback without any playoff experience. But this will be a very close game. You can't really go wrong with either or. I think the Vikings can win this one. The Rams can win this one. But I'm going to go Rams money line in this one and give me the Rams spread at +1.5. So Rams money line, first upset in the playoffs, and the Rams +1.5. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy the content, please give the video a thumbs up and comment below on your first round NFL playoff predictions. Thank you so much, and catch you guys on Friday.